being here. I appreciate this opportunity to engage with you, even though it's through a computer screen, but want to answer any questions you have about the College Farm and share a video with you that was made by Joe O'Neill, who's the videographer for Dickinson College. So my name is Jenn Halpin. I'm the director of the College Farm, and I am one of many people who help run the College Farm. Before I get into too much about the College Farm, I thought maybe I'd start with the video that was made. It's a couple of minutes, and then I'll pause, bring us back together, and share a little bit more about the farm, but also answer any questions that you have. So if you do have questions, you can use the raise the hand function or just unmute yourself and ask this is very free form. So I just want to make sure you feel comfortable with that process. All right, so I'm going to share my screen, and here we go.
Hi, I'm Jenn Halpin. I'm the director of the Dickinson College Farm. Welcome. We thought we'd take you on a little walking tour of the College Farm to show you what the farm looks like right now here in the spring, and to introduce you to some of the people behind the scenes. Today's Harvest Day. We're harvesting for our campus supported agriculture program. We have about 135 families that are part of this co-op that we have. And so every Monday we harvest for our CSA and also for our farmers market. We are a vendor at Farmers on the Square in Carlisle. We grow fresh produce to sell, but we also make.
Jen, I don't know if people can see the video or not.
Sorry, what's that?
I don't think people can see the video. Is it on your wrong screen? You have two screens.
Thank you for saying that. It probably is. So let me try this again. Sorry.
Right now we're on the screen with all your files. So.
Oh, that's no fun. So Andrew, do you think you could share it?
Should be able to. Is it on? You sent it to me earlier, so let me do that.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Here I was thinking we were all watching it together. Let me see.
1 minute.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yep.
Oh. Actually, Andrew, I may have figured it out.
Yeah, did you get it?
Let me try again. Bear with me. Bear with me. So please speak up if you don't see it.
Hi, I'm Jenn.
Still not seeing it.
Okay, so then if you can help me, Andrew, that would be great. My apologies.
Yep.
The one thing I am good at is growing vegetables. I'm not that great at technology. So.
Everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. Let's try to play it. Can you see that?
It's just hard to hear, Andrew.
I'll turn it up.
Andrew?
Yeah.
So nobody can hear it. I don't know if you see those.
Nobody can hear it?
No, we can see it, but we can't hear it.
All right, let me try this. What about now? No?
No.
All right, we will figure this out, folks.
Well, I can share a little bit about the farm while Andrew's trying to troubleshoot this with me. So bear with us, but a couple of things that aren't mentioned in the video is just a little bit about how the college farm program is structured. So I'd like to tell people we are similar to like a hybrid business model in that we raise vegetables and raise grass-fed meat and generate revenue from those products. And then the revenue generated from our sales of vegetables and meat go to pay for our production needs and programming needs. So our seeds and plants at the beginning of the year, our repairs to tractors and trucks, fuel, new equipment or greenhouses, anything that it takes to run a production farm, we pay for out of our revenue, as well as all of our programming expenses. So educational outreach programs that we do are also paid for through vegetable sales. So in that sense, it's a true business in that we can expand and diversify the college farm program as our revenue dictates. The hybrid of the business model comes into play in that our labor, our students, our full-time staff, our seasonal staff, and our part-time staff are, for the most part, paid for by the college. And as you might know, labor is one of the biggest expenses on any farm. And so that is where the hybrid play comes in for me. We do have some generous alums who have underwritten some of our staffing positions, and that obviously helps towards the overall sustainability of the college farm. But we do have that kind of a staff structure. In terms of staffing, we have 3 full-time staff, myself, our vegetable production manager, who you'll hear from hopefully in the video, and our other manager, who's our special projects and livestock manager, who you'll also hear from in the video. And then other than the 3 of us, we mostly have seasonal help. We have part-time administrative assistant, and then seasonal employees who are with us from 11 months to 6 months, depending on their position at the college farm. We have an apprenticeship program, and right now we have 2 apprenticeship programs that are 11-month positions and 4 apprenticeship positions that are 6-month positions. And those are typically recent graduates, whether of Dickinson or other universities and colleges across the country, who have an interest in coming and learning, engaging in hands-on training in agriculture, but also in leadership and team management. We actually have a young woman right now from LA, and she flew from LA to Pennsylvania about 3 weeks ago, and just has an interest in learning about sustainable agriculture and found out about our program and applied. In addition to the seasonal staff, we have students. Obviously, they are the backbone of our program. During the summer months, we have 6 full-time positions for students, some of which you hopefully will see in the video. And during the academic school year, we employ between 12 and 14 students. And they range in their academic disciplines from the arts and humanities to the social sciences and hard sciences. And we try really hard to create a team that's very diverse academically and otherwise. It's really important to us that our program reflects society, the global society, and we get lots of great ideas and innovations as a result, in my opinion. One other position I should mention is a 1-year rotating position, which is a post-baccalaureate position. It's our education outreach coordinator. And that is typically a Dickinson graduate who stays on for professional development in education and outreach programming. And we start that every year around June. It's a June to June position, and it really enables a young professional to kind of dive into all kinds of realms, whether it's starting a program from scratch, mentoring peers who are involved with youth education programs that we run, communications, you name it. And so, as you can see, we have a pretty big team. During the summer months, it's a team of 15 or more. And during the academic year, it can be 15 to 20 people. So there's rarely a dull moment at the college farm. So I'm going to pause there and see if Andrew had any luck with the video. And if not, I'll just keep talking.
I think so, but we will see.
Okay.
Yes, we will see. Try to change some of the settings. So we will see if that works. Everybody see that? Oop. No, you can't. There you go. Everybody see that?
Andrew, unfortunately, we still can't hear it. I have somebody who's in my office who's going to help me troubleshoot as well. And if we can't do it, I'll just keep talking.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah. Hey, Andrew, I have a millennial here, and she's going to help me screen share from my end.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, sorry, everybody. Stay tuned. Got the young forces here. I'll be right back. Did people hear that?
Still no audio.
We thought we'd take you on a little walking tour of the college farm to show you what the farm looks like right now here in the spring, and to introduce you to some of the people behind the scenes. Today's Harvest Day. We're harvesting for our campus supported agriculture program. We have about 135 families that are part of this co-op that we have. And so every Monday we harvest for our CSA and also for our farmers market. We are a vendor at Farmers on the Square in Carlisle.
Yeah. Okay, we're still troubleshooting, assuming nobody can hear it still, right?
We could, but it sounds like it's coming through your microphone. It's not super clear.
Okay. Hang tight.
I wonder if it would be better if it was played through YouTube too.
Hi, I'm Jenn Halpin. I'm the director of the Dickinson College Farm. Welcome. We thought we'd take you on a little.
Is that any better?
A little bit.
Okay. Okay. I think we've reached our technical capacity, unfortunately.
Wait, let me let me try one more thing.
I'm impressed with everybody hanging in there with us. We'll try one more time, and then if not, I have lots to talk to you about.
Yeah, let me try something.
Who would have thought we had this all figured out?
Hi, I'm Jenn Halpin. I'm the director of the Dickinson College Farm. Welcome.
Can you hear that?
Yes, yay. Great job.
Okay, perfect. Sorry for the delay, everybody. We'll start from the beginning. Thank you for bearing with us. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Jenn Halpin. I'm the director of the Dickinson College Farm. Welcome. We thought we'd take you on a little walking tour of the college farm to show you what the farm looks like right now here in the spring and to introduce you to some of the people behind the scenes. Today's Harvest Day. We're harvesting for our campus supported agriculture program. We have about 135 families that are part of this co-op that we have. And so every Monday we harvest for our CSA and also for our farmers market. We are a vendor at Farmers on the Square in Carlisle where we grow fresh produce to sell, but we also make pizzas that are fresh baked that really highlight ingredients at our farm. We have students that work with us during the summer months. They're full-time employees. They're in training right now. We're training them how to harvest new crops, how to do things efficiently and effectively. This is Gavin and Johannes. They're both students. Johannes is a biochem major, and Gavin is thinking about physics and astronomy. So what's great about the college farm is it attracts students from all disciplines, and the production of food is what kind of brings them together.
Hey, my name is Will Nelson, Vegetable Production Manager here at Dickinson College Farm. I just want to give you a brief overview of our production here. We do about 10 acres of certified organic vegetables. In addition to the diversity of crops you see here, this year in particular has been a really good strawberry year. Last week alone, we harvested over 700 pounds of strawberries. So it's a really exciting time here this spring, and we're excited to be growing for y'all.
Hi folks, I'm Farmer Matt, and I'm the Livestock and Energy Projects Manager here at the farm. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about a project we've got going on called the Biogas Project. And this is something we've been working on since 2008. So in a nutshell, biogas is where we take organic waste materials and we convert them into methane. Here we use livestock manure and food waste from the cafeteria, and we're converting those into methane that we can burn. So methane is a good energy source. So I'm lighting the biogas stove, and this is running on methane produced by the microbes from our cow manure and food waste. You can barely see the flame because it's so clean, but it is actually pretty hot. We're also using brewery grain from Molly Pitcher Brewing Company. And that's actually what you see here is spent brewer's grain after beer is made. So this is an example of a slurry that would be used to feed the biogas digester. We've been making biogas on a small scale since 2008, and our current biogas plant, which is a 2,000-gallon pilot scale reactor, has been running since 2015. What's really exciting now is that we're working on a larger scale project. We've combined forces with our neighboring dairy farm. They have 150 dairy cows, and we're going to take all the manure from those dairy cows, plus all the food waste from Dickinson campus, and another half ton per day of food waste from other local businesses. Combine all of that waste material together and make it into enough biogas that will actually power Dickinson College Farm, the neighboring dairy farm, and still leave us extra to sell back to the utility. We anticipate about 200,000 kilowatt hours per year of renewable electricity generated from this project. This is being funded by both the USDA, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture. This is the digester room where the magic happens. This is a 1,000-gallon pallet scale reactor, and it's built from rubber roofing material we get from a local roofing plant here in Carlisle. So that's full of water, food waste, cow manure, and brewer's grain, and the microbes are in there converting it into methane.
So I thought it'd be nice to show you some shots of our spring production fields. So behind me, you'll see several acres of spring onions and lettuces, salad mix, spring broccoli, kale, cauliflower, cabbages, carrots, beets, you name it, and our bumper crop of strawberries, as Will was mentioning. So we have an amazing crop of strawberries this year. I wish I could share these with you. These are delicious strawberries that we are picking 3 days a week. And also in the distance, you can see one of our apprentices, that's Harmony, currently weed whacking pasture edges to move animals in.
So this is our grazing sheep herd. We have 12 ewes, 14 yearlings, and we had 24 lambs this year born in the spring. There were 5 sets of triplets this year, which was pretty crazy, but here are 2 of our bottle babies that absolutely love the attention that they get from everyone here at the farm. And they're doing a great job with this pasture. Our sheep eat down the grass and keep it nice and short for us, which we love, and they get to enjoy the fresh grass and the fresh air that we have in abundance here. We have about 25 head of cattle here that we use for beef. These are Angus or Angus Hereford mixes, and calves are starting to come in steadily. It's definitely calving season. So far we've had about 5 calves come in, and everyone seems to be doing very well.
Just want to give you a little bit of an overview of our production fields and one of our main crops, which is garlic that we grow. We've been saving garlic seed for almost 20 years now and growing garlic that we supply to our CSA, to the dining hall, and sell at the farmer's market. And we also grow garlic to sell as seed to other farmers in the area. We have a great partnership with Project Share, the local food bank in Carlisle. This year, we're kind of taking our relationship with Project Share a step further. We surveyed members of the Spanish-speaking communities and Arabic-speaking communities that make use of Project Share services to kind of ask them what crops that they are missing from home and crops that are culturally appropriate that might not be easy to find in grocery stores or through the food bank here in Carlisle. And so this year we're actually dedicating land to grow culturally specific crops for these communities. So things that we've never heard of, which we're really excited to experiment with and hopefully to help supplement the dietary needs of these communities in Carlisle.
All right. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, Andrew. You saved the day. I just want the young woman who was talking about the livestock. She's actually one of our second-year apprentices. She's one of our 11-month seasonal positions. She graduated from Dickinson in 2019 with a degree in chemistry and is interested in being a large animal vet. And so she provides a really good example of how the College Farm is providing really cool experiences and opportunities for recent graduates of Dickinson. So as Will mentioned, we do have 10 acres of vegetables in production this year. We are certified organic. We've been certified organic probably for about 8 years now, and really feel committed to that as a production model. Our livestock are actually animal welfare approved and certified grass-fed. So those are 2 third-party certifications that we pursue in order to ensure our customers, are getting what they want. So in terms of where our products go, Farmers on the Square is one of those outlets, and the CSA, that's a campus-supported agriculture program. As I mentioned in the video, we have about 135 families that are part of this vegetable co-op. We offer 24 to 30 weeks of vegetables on a weekly basis. And we have this great program right now where our members can customize exactly what they want every week in their share. And we box it up and deliver it to them at Project Share, or they can come to the College Farm and pick up from us. The drop off at Project Share, anybody who doesn't retrieve their CSA share for some reason, that produce gets donated to Project Share. And to give you an estimate of food that's donated, whether from an unpicked up CSA share or surplus that we grow in our fields, last year, I think we donated about 4,800 pounds of certified organic vegetables to Project Share, and then another 4,000 pounds or so to our local gleaning project. So we work really closely with food recovery programs in the area. And, last year donated close to 9,000 pounds to them. So the CSA is one of our outlets, and the dining hall obviously is one of our outlets. We're really excited to get back into the business with the dining hall. Last year and a half has kind of been a challenging time for everybody. And our relationship with the dining hall is, rearing to get back. So to kind of put things in perspective in terms of how our revenue is generated, Last year, about 35% of our revenue was generated through our CSA program. 28% was generated through our farmers market. Sadly, a mere 3% of our revenue was through the dining hall, just because the dining hall wasn't open, because the campus wasn't open. And then, believe it or not, we do a lot of sales to other farms in the area. I mentioned garlic in the video, but we also custom grow and sell surplus crops to local farmers who are selling to farmers markets or who might have their own CSA program. And so about 15% of our total revenue goes to what we call non-market vegetables. And then the rest of that pie, 100% pie, is our meat products, our value-added products, and then miscellaneous events that we generate income from. So I'm going to pause there and see if anybody has any questions, and I'll kind of get into the research and academics aspect of the farm. Yes.
I have, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Evelyn.
Yeah, when I was at Dickinson, there was no farm. And so all of a sudden, I guess I returned to campus one time and everybody was talking about the farm. And I'm thinking, well, this is kind of odd. It seemed really outside of the programs that as a liberal arts college they were offering, you know, like science, math, you know, foreign language. And all of a sudden there's this working farm. So I'm wondering why the college decided to buy the, you know, or acquire, or how they got the farm and why, and then what sort of student programs are offered, like can you get a degree in agriculture, or if you could expand on the history and purpose, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. Those are great questions. So so the College Farm program actually started in 2007. And it was developed on land that is owned by the college. It was actually land that was bequeathed to the college by an alum by the name of Ivo Otto back in the mid-1960s. And so since the 60s, the college was renting it out as farmland to farmers in the area. And since the 1980s, it was rented out to a dairy farm. And so in 2006, sorry, let me back up. In 2000, students started a garden program through the Environmental Studies Department here at Dickinson. And because they wanted to learn more about this thing called sustainable agriculture and kind of engage in hands-on learning. And so the Environmental Studies Department worked with the college to give them a small parcel of land over by D Park. So if you're familiar with where D Park is or where the baseball fields are now. And so in 2002, I was hired to run the garden program, which at its capacity was 3/4 of an acre in size. And even at that small footprint, we were integrating coursework and independent studies from biology and environmental studies to art in that small piece of land. Then in 2005 and into 2006, really saw the potential for the garden, but also the limitations to the garden because it couldn't expand any further. And that's when I was made aware of land that the college owned out in Boiling Springs. So it's about 7 miles from campus, the college farm is. And then President Durden and Nick Stamos and Annette Parker, those might be familiar names to some of you, were the senior staff, part of the senior staff here at Dickinson, along with Neil Weissman, and kind of developed a proposal that they liked. And so we kind of transitioned this idea from the garden program to a farm venue in 2007 and have been growing it not only as a production farm, but also as an educational facility. And so we work with classes year round, honestly. The fall semester is probably our busiest time because of weather. The spring semester is a little bit harder to accommodate outside classes in February and March, and April is kind of a questionable month too. But we're working with faculty and students in the arts and humanities. So language departments will come out and have language vocabulary classes at the farm, whether it's Spanish or German or French. We have biology classes that have longstanding research at the farm, ecology projects at the farm. We have art classes that come out regularly for photography or to talk about art and sustainability, religion coming out to talk about the ethics of meat consumption. And so we've been really growing our relationships with different academic departments and faculty on at Dickinson to bring classes out. To your point about a major, like what do students study? About 5 years ago, the college initiated a food studies certificate program. So you can major in environmental studies, minor in anthropology, and get a food studies certificate program, which means that you're kind of focusing or channeling your interests in environmental studies and anthropology through the lens of food studies. And so the farm is very much an anchor to that particular program, which is a growing program. It's, I think we graduated 15 students in the food studies department this year. And for, just being launched about 5 years ago, it's on a great path towards, growing in its interest for students. There's no degree in agriculture at Dickinson, but what we're seeing is students taking their interests in international business and management or chemistry like Danielle, or studio arts, and overlaying that with their interest in sustainability in food systems and food production. And so that's where it all kind of comes together in a liberal arts fashion. Great question, Evelyn. Martha, you have your hand up.
Yes, actually, my question was going to be similar to Evelyn's, but my question starts with I'm a graduate of 1973, and I know that Dickinson owned land at that time right on Route 11, which I was thinking was the farm. Now you're telling me, is the farm now a different location in Boiling Springs?
Yeah, so I think the land that you're talking about, I don't know if Dickinson owns that anymore, but they own the other land in Boiling Springs, and that's where the farm is located.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm planning on coming tomorrow to do the actual tour.
Oh, neat.
Will the registration desk have directions to the farm?
I'm sure they will, and Andrew's on the call, so I'm sure he's taking note of that. But it's about from camp. It's about a 15-minute drive, literally 7 miles. It's a beautiful.
And we'll have directions in the registration center for you to get there.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to piggyback on her question since we're together. I graduated in '71. I've been to the farm once years ago in its early stages, but I was most interested in, as an environmental professional, I was interested in the biogas production in the video. And if I understood correctly, they're producing methane, which they're using, for ultimately, hopefully, to fuel vehicles at the college and so forth. But have you all done a carbon footprint of the farm, and is there methane escape that you're concerned about? Since methane is one of the most sensitive greenhouse gases in terms of global warming and so forth.
Yeah, great questions. And so Matt is the person to chat with about that. He will be at the farm tomorrow, but to answer what I can of your questions. We have been making biogas at the farm for cooking fuel, and we capture the methane in balloons that we have fabricated out of rubber roofing material. So they are well sealed up. So the chance of leakage is very low. What Matt, who was featured, is working on, it's a $1.3 million project, and he's raised $1.1 million towards the $1.3 million. And that's going to actually construct a fully contained methane digester, and it will have piping, underground piping, nothing above ground. And that's where we hope to take the methane and convert it to electricity. And so there has been, we did probably about 5 years ago now, we did a footprint, an energy footprint of the college farm, trying to see where most of our energy is being used and how can we convert non-renewable to renewable forms of energy. And so biogas was one of our solutions to eventually electrical needs, as well as fuel for equipment and cooking fuel. The reason I keep mentioning cooking fuel is, believe it or not, we have a pretty extensive value-added product line where we do a lot of canned goods, and all of our canned goods are made on biogas. So we're doing pickled beets and salsa, kosher pickles and sweet pickles. That's all being made on biogas. And then our residential apprentices also have a stove outfitted with biogas that they can cook with in their residence. So that's been replacing propane basically. And so that's one of our interests. In addition to biogas, we also have solar. We have grid tied and off grid systems that you'll see tomorrow when you come to the farm. Great question.
Thank you.
Any other questions before I continue on? Happy to answer questions.
There may have been one in the chat, I believe.
Okay, sorry.
There was two in the chat. Is there a shuttle for students to go back and forth? Is the one. And then the other one, do you also work with local farmers to encourage sustainable farming practices by others in the region?
Great questions. A shuttle to the farm is my my dream. I'm working on it. So what we do right now is we have 3 vehicles that are managed by the college farm, and students who want to come to the farm can use that whenever they want to. We have regular shifts during the academic school year, and students who are interested in volunteering can kind of sign up with students already going to the farm for their work shift and hop a ride. So that's one way for students to get there. We also have every week Friday afternoon volunteer day called Weed and Feed. So just like the name says, you help us pull some weeds and we feed you. And that has transportation provided for the students. So it's every Friday afternoon. And then it is 7 miles. It's a great bike ride. There's a beautiful ride that is in part on a bike trail that was developed in Carlisle. And we have this eventual goal of working with the borough and the township of South Middleton Township, because there's actually a railway or a rail bed to do a rails to trails that would get you to the college farm. About 7 years ago, we actually worked with the township and the South Mountain Partnership Program to put a foot trail around the perimeter of the farm. So you can actually walk from the farm into the village of Boiling Springs, and from the village of Boiling Springs through the farm to a network of 5 miles of trail systems with the South Middleton Park systems. And so the goal is to keep working with other organizations in the area who are promoting green forms of energy or green forms of transportation. And this rails to trail idea is actually getting closer and closer to coming to the farm. Your other question, I forgot the other question, sorry.
All right, let me ask Ben, sorry. Do you always work with the local farmers to encourage sustainable farming practices by the others in the region?
Thank you. Yes, we do. We're very involved with an amazing regional organization called PASA, which stands for Pennsylvania Association for Sustainable Agriculture. We've served on the members of the college farm team have served on the board of PASA for many, many years. And we regularly participate with them or partner with them to offer field days at the farm. So we'll have in-person topic specific events at the farm. We've had to pause that obviously for the past 1.5 years because of COVID, but from soil health strategies to equipment maintenance. We've hosted different programs at the college farm, and that's specifically geared towards other farms in the area that have an interest in kind of going toward a more sustainable approach to land management. So that's one way that we're involved. And we also contribute to PASA's annual conference that brings together 1,000 to 2,000 people from the Mid-Atlantic region who are interested in a sustainable ag. And we'll talk about the biogas project there, as well as our livestock program or other topics that the staff of PASA think would be really good to share with PASA members and conference attendees. So yes, very involved with that. I see Liz has her hand up.
Hi, I love that you guys have a CSA. That's awesome. I didn't know about that, and that you're also selling your stuff at the farmers market. I'm the class of '96, and we definitely didn't have the farm, and that's so sad, but it's Absolutely amazing. My question was, I love the part about the culturally appropriate agriculture that you're growing. I'd love to hear what are some of the crops that they want and what are you guys what will you be growing?
Yeah, thank you. So we are already growing them. So I worked with two faculty members at Dickinson, one in the Spanish department and one in Middle Eastern Studies, who kind of were in-person translators with me as we survey different groups of project share recipients. And right now, the main crops we're growing are a variety of hot peppers, varieties of okra, zucchini that we harvest at a small, it's probably like 3 to 4 inches in length, which is very typical with Middle Eastern cuisine. Also small eggplants, sorrel, Egyptian spinach. That's a new one for me, and I've been watching it grow, and it looks more like an herb than spinach, what I would think. And so that's something that we're experimenting with. Purslane, which we typically pull out as a weed at the farm, but I'm actually cultivating purslane this year because that is actually a crop with a very common in Arabic speaking countries, which is what I'm learning, as is arugula. And so those are, and tomatoes also, but that's the bulk of what we're growing. And I should mention that this particular project is an offshoot from another project that I've been working on for probably the past 3 years or so. And that's a home gardening initiative that we're trying to develop in the borough of Carlisle. So the Burpee Foundation is actually funding us to conduct research and also implement a program that would be part of the College Farm program. So students would have the ability to go and work at the farm, work with the livestock, larger scale agriculture, or direct their interest in urban home scale gardening. The focus of the home scale gardening project is to research the intersection between home scale gardens and increase of household dietary diversity, as well as the decrease of household food insecurity and the increased potential for borough level biodiversity. So we get more gardens in the borough of Carlisle when we start to see biodiversity increase. And so this is a long-term project that we have 3 gardeners working with us right now. And I have 2 students who will be working with me this summer. And part of their goal is to recruit more gardeners and to kind of develop educational programs that are specific to the needs of the gardeners that we're working with. And so this is at its initial stages. We had funding last year, but again, COVID really put a squash on some of our efforts. And so we're really excited to kind of get out there this year and support the gardeners that we do have and start recruiting more. And it's through this work that I started to realize that the crops that gardeners wanted to grow were crops that I wasn't seeing through our donations to Project Share, nor common donations that Project Share is giving out, which is what prompted this whole surveying process to understand what crops don't exist currently or regularly or easily accessible in the area, and how the College Farm might kind of fill a gap or need in the community. So thanks for your interest in that. Any other questions?
I think there was another one in there too. Did the farm completely replace the initial student-run garden that was closer to campus?
It did. So it's now part of the practice space for the baseball team. But I should say that when the original garden, when in 2007, when we had launched the College Farm program, the original student garden became a community garden. So it's the Dickinson Community Garden. And then in 2009 or so, the athletics department really needed that plot of land. And so the college relocated the community garden probably 2 football fields away from where it was. And it continues to be a thriving community garden. So the spirit of it lives on, I guess I should say. Super. Any other questions?
When you say community garden, are you meaning for just like Dickinson Community College faculty, or are you meaning the entire like Carlisle community open to the public?
It's open to the public. Yep. We have there are Dickinson people who are part of it and non-Dickinson people who are part of it. So there's a committee of volunteers who are kind of the advisory committee, and the college farm serves as a liaison between the garden and the college. But it's completely run by non-Dickinson affiliated individuals. And I think there's about 30 plots there. So it's a very thriving space. Awesome. I'll share a little bit more. Any other questions, actually? Sorry.
There was one other quick question.
Yeah.
Asking about, do your paying customers pay promptly, and are there any collection challenges?
There are no collection challenges. We, through our new customization process, it's all online. And so when you sign up for our CSA, you pay a percentage of the total cost due, and then you're billed weekly. And so most people today put their credit card numbers in and are billed like accordingly. So this system that we've adopted has really streamlined not only hopefully customer satisfaction in terms of customers are getting exactly what they need and the quantities that they want, but it's also helping us streamline the finance aspect of it. So no payment issues. Yeah, great question.
I think that was all the questions.
Okay, super. I can't see the chat, so thank you, Andrew. I appreciate your help. So I'll just mention one other thing that I feel like is really exciting, because I know we're going to be running out of time here, and that is some research that we're doing with the Rodale Institute. So the Rodale Institute is a premier international organic research institute that's actually located in Pennsylvania, ironically, and gratefully for us. And we've been partners with Rodale in field-based research for quite a while now, really focusing our efforts on soil health research and crop health research. One of the things we've been working on for several years in conjunction with Rodale is organic no-till. And that is ways that you can minimize soil disturbance while not using herbicides, which is the common denominator with a lot of the conventional no-till that you see. When you see fields of soybeans or fields of corn, it's typically a no-till system and is heavily reliant on herbicides. And so with no-till systems, what we are doing is growing stands of cover crops. So cover crops for us are stands of grains like wheat or rye that will marry or pair with a leguminous crop. And the leguminous crops, as you science nerds like me know, is a nitrogen fixer. And so we're actually growing grain and growing nitrogen fixing legumes, but we're growing them for their biomass. We're not trying to harvest the rye seed or wheat to mill into flour. We're literally growing these crops for their biomass. And before they reach their seed stage, we actually have this amazing implement called a roller crimper that we pull behind our tractor that literally rolls down the stand of cover crop and tills it in place. And so if you imagine mulching your garden with straw to keep the weeds down, we're actually taking a living crop and doing the same thing with it. So the roots are still intact, and it becomes a living mulch. And so what we do in that system is we plant directly into the rolled down cover crop. And so this year we're actually doing side-by-side trials between butternut squash that's been planted in a roll down system of rye and vetch, and butternut squash that's been planted on black plastic, and seeing if we have difference in plant development, plant vigor, weed management, etc. And that's in conjunction with Rodale, as I mentioned. We're also one of 11 partners working with Rodale for over the next 2 years on a research project that's really trying to evaluate soil health in the presence of an amino acid called ergothioneine, which is a unique amino acid that can be present in the soil after varieties of ancient grains have been grown. And so we're going to be doing 2 fields, one of ancient grain and one of a heritage grain, and then growing broccoli and probably green beans. So we're going to be growing the grains this year. Next year, we're going to grow crops in it and see if there's a presence of this ergothioneine amino acid in the soil, which is touted to promote not only soil health, but also plant health. And so this research, we're one of the grow out sites. We're one of the farms that's growing these grains and then the cash crop afterwards. And we'll be working with scientists from Delaware, from Iowa, Rodale scientists, and also scientists from South Carolina, who are going to be testing our soils, testing our crops to see what the presence of this ergothioneine is, and whether or not it's benefiting soil health over the long haul and crop health, the final nutritive value of the crops we're growing. And so students will be very much integrated into this. We've been working pretty closely with a chemistry professor for the past several years on different trials we've done with Rodale and involving students in doing assays to understand the nutritive value or the nutritive makeup of particular crops. And so that's just really exciting stuff. It's really cutting edge research that I'm really honored that we've been asked to be a part of. And just that's one other way that I can convey to you that we are connecting field-based research with academic interests and student opportunities. Super. And then one last thing just to say, some of you may have heard of Farm Lab. Farm Lab is a project that was selected as one of the winners of the Revolutionary Challenge that was last year. It seems like such a long time ago. Farm Lab stands for Food, Agriculture, and Resource Management. And it's literally an on-farm facility that we are excited to fundraise for in order to build a weatherproof year-round facility where students can come for academic and non-academic events or coursework or research. And just those of you who've been following Revolutionary Challenge, just want to let you know that Farm Lab still is in existence. We're actually in the process of interviewing potential architect firms who have proven experience in green design and implementation of similar projects. And so the next steps are underway, which is really exciting. And so when I think about the future of the farm and what we're going to be focusing on, it really is developing Farm Lab, this biogas project that we mentioned, and really kind of serving as a model for other farmers, and specifically dairy farmers in the region for how they might actually capture the manure and convert it into energy, and the research associated with that. And then continually working to expand opportunities for education and outreach programs at the college farm for students. That's our mission for sure. And then obviously growing good crops. Can't do that without having some food to share as well. So I'll pause there, see if anybody has any last questions, and then I want to let you have your day. All right. I can't see the chat, so I'm hoping.
Yeah, I don't see anything else. So thank you so much, Jen, for your time today and for the information. There was lots of positive comments in the chat for you and for the farm. So what the farm is doing for the college. So thank you so much. And thank you for everybody who attended today, and thank you for dealing with us with our technical difficulties.
Thank you so much for that.
we made it through, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll also make sure that the video is in the email follow-up with this recording as well for you, so that you have it as well.
Awesome.
I just want to say thank you. This was so fantastic. I finally learned so much about the farm, and I've participated in almost all of the virtual events last year and this year. And I have to say that this was my favorite and the best one. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Evelyn. I appreciate that. And thanks everybody for sharing your lunchtime with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good.
Thanks
Bye,
everybody.
everybody. Bye.
Bye.